Namaste. Welcome to our part 2 of analysis of core psychoanalytic open split with our subject expert, Dr. Himanshu Vaidya. Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Sir, so far in our first part, we have covered about one of the classic examples of split and how psychoanalysis criticizes, holds the criticism for the lack of depth and width of the detailed and elemental versions of the pathology.
Right.
Somewhere we were in the interesting discussion of how in the heat model of yours, we address to this depth and the width vis-a-vis split. And you also mentioned that there are some core analysis of the situation within the split. Also, you would see the generation of the story, what happens in the split, and then there are some core aspects to it.
Correct. So,
Hanji.
Please go on. Sorry.
Yeah, so I was just mentioning that when you had explained that the core problems are there, where you identify, for many people it would be different. So I had brought up a case where there are this 23-year-old boy who reported in therapy around 6 years ago. And there are these two twin brothers. One is absolutely fine, while the other started experiencing similar delusion of persecution, and then followed by diagnosis of OCD, and at times diagnosis of anxiety disorder, social anxiety disorder, and finally to schizotypal disorder. So currently in his present stage, he is somewhere where he is denying the good breast also. That is to do with all the therapy and all the healing modalities, let it be medicines. There's a lot of fear towards it. And at times there is a self-doubt. So how would you explain this core process in the split of this particular young boy?
If you have to run through heat with this example, it would be like this. Let's go back to the pathogenesis model. Let's say you have to run this example through this. Step 1 is diagnosis. You diagnose that the person has delusion of persecution.
Step in the onset.
It is there. And it's accompanied by mood disorder, also accompanied by OC features. So that is your diagnosis. And you have a case history, which of course I can't ask you on video, but you have some case history where you know the story of symptoms, which we cannot discuss in public, but you know it. And then based upon your knowledge, you have tried to figure out as to what is the core process at work which is causing this pathology. And you could have gone through the Freudian school, the Kleinian school, the Cohutian school, and so on, and concluded that the split being open, the Kleinian process is at work. That is the core process. So you have done holistic school analysis, looked at all the schools, and of all the explanations you have found based upon the case history, and maybe even a few therapy sessions, that what is at work is the Kleinian process of the split being open and the fear of attack of bed breast being at play. So this is what
I would like to add that in one of the sessions I had considered it with the Bionian concept also, because there was a lot of sensations unexplained, and right now also there is a lot of movement in his body, which I beyond the model would be applicable, because it is to do with a much deeper concept. So
correct. So then what we are looking at is that there are two core processes you are looking at. The first core process is that of Klein, and the second core process put forward by Bjorn. You are looking
Yes,
at two core processes at work, right? Which you believe would be at the root of lot of things which manifest later on the surface. So out of the two, let us take the first core process of the open split. And then what we do for this core process, you can do the same thing for the Bjornian core process.
right.
Okay. So if we take the open split and the attack of the bed breast as a core process, first what we do is a general causation analysis. So let us say what we do in general causation analysis would be this. That the general causation model says that any event in the world happens because of these forces. So in this case, if you put the attack of the bed breast and the split open, right? What is at work? Is the laws of nature at work? Of course. So this is at work. Is the free will of others work at work? When this happened, yes. The others had a free will to be present or not to be present. The mother exercised the free will not to be present, and therefore the difficulty. Was the constitution at work? The karmic thing at work? Yes, it was at work. Was the free will of the self at work? No, this was not at work. Is the journey of the self at work, that maybe he has come into this world to experience this kind of thing? We don't know. So let us say it can be a 50-50 thing. So I will put in italics. Was it the karma of the parents that they should have such a child? It may be, we don't know. So I'm putting this in italics, it's 50-50. Can it be possession by suprahuman forces and beings?
On your screen, it is still showing the first slide only.
Oh. Can you see it now?
Yes, now it is visible. Thank you.
Okay. So thanks for bringing it to my notice. Let me start again. So the general event causation model says that any event in the universe happens because of these forces, and the psychological event of pathogenesis also is one such event.
Right.
So in this case, what is at work? Is the pathology developing because of the laws of nature? Obviously, yes.
Yes.
Right? That the law of nature is that the human mind works in a way that if an object loss happens, this course of events happens according to the Kleinian discovery. Is the free will of others at work because the mother had a free will to be present or not be present? Yes, it is at work. Is the karma of the self at work? Yes, it is at work. Because two people may experience the same thing and may not have the same outcomes because of the difference in constitution, which would be because of karma in this psychophilosophical model.
Right.
Is the free will of the self at work? No, it is not at work. Has the person come into this world to experience these things, which he would not experience unless the split was open? So we come to the purpose of pathology. And we don't know. So this is 50-50.
It's a probability.
Yeah, it may be, may not be, we don't know. So I'm putting it in italics. Has this happened because the parents had to fulfill a karma and they had to endure having such a child? Maybe yes, maybe no, we don't know. Can the suprahuman forces be at work? Maybe.
In the holistic framework, one of the healers is confirming for something similar.
Yeah. So on that basis, let us say it's 50-50. Can this be by chance? No, this is not chance. Can it be because of the journey of universe, that in that journey of universe, this person had to undergo this, otherwise the journey would be disturbed? No, not at all. Is it the karma created by the principle? No. Is it the freedom of reality? No. So when you apply this model, the causal factors are this in the red. Right? And these are 50-50% chances, we don't know. Let me put it in another color. Let us say this. So this is definitely there. This is definitely not there. This is, we don't know, 50-50. Now, when you look at this, this gives you the width.
Right.
So for each of it, there is something which can be used for healing. Psychotherapy, as we know, for this, nothing for this, at least not now, it's done. For this, you have many spiritual exercises. You may use it from the pranic thing, you may use it from crystal healing. For this, you have to get into logotherapy, that maybe this is what you wish to experience. For this, you have to get into spirituality. For this, you have to get into the whole tantric area. Right? So this is the first level of width that you can analyze in this framework, and each of them will give you some road to healing. And put all of it together, you have a healing basket. So this is how the first would be done. So when I say, so the first point number 4 is what we just saw. Then we get into the core process. How have we seen the split in operation? So the recent phenomena would be that he is afraid of the healers themselves, which means the bad breast projections are happening on the healers, except for you where the good breast projections have happened. So the split is open. You are on one end of the split where you are on you the good projections are happening. Other healers are at other end of the split where the bad breast projections are happening. So this phenomena we know. Now we go to the core event. Right? That he is experiencing some paranoid fear that the healer will attack him. So this is a specific manifestation of the bad breast will attack me. Right? Now, get into the general analysis of this core event. That is it because of his constitution, is the aggression and sadism very high? From your case history, you would know something. I would not expect you to reveal in public, but you know it. Okay, from the case history, you know that are we looking at a person where the constitutional aggression and sadism is very high and therefore it's projected out? Or are we looking at a situation where the constitution is fine, but the environment has been so traumatic that this has happened? Third, what is the capacity to bear affect of this person? Are we looking at a situation where the affect generated is not abnormally high? It may be higher than normal, but not radically high. But the person does not have capacity to bear affect, or the capacity to bear affect may be good, but the affect generated is so high because of events that there is no way he can resist it in terms of capacity, because probably so much affect is generated that nobody can have that capacity. So are we looking at too much affect problem, or are we looking at a capacity problem? Or are we looking at both? Then we go to the defense analysis. Are the defenses not working properly? Or is it that the traumatic situation is so difficult that this is the best even good defense work can do? And then we look at open space. Are there some other factors at work? So the first level, the second level of deeper analysis, the second point in heat and the first in depth is this. The general causation analysis is more of a width analysis. Now, when we talk of deeper, then first we identified the core process. Now, the first level of depth in the core process is in this general analysis. We look at these 5 factors: constitution, environment, capacity, defense analysis, and open space. Now we go deeper. Okay. In the core event for him is the other will attack me. Now, in this core event, let us analyze the cognitive and the affective components of it. So if we look into the cognitive component, we come here. If we can analyze the cognitive process in this way, this is a table, a standard table I have created for core event analysis, the cognitive component. Now, let us say he goes to a person, healer X, and he feels the healer will attack him. Right? Now, let us go into the elemental constituents of this phenomena. He goes to a healer, and after some time, he feels the healer will attack him. So, is the stimulus a difficulty? Is the healer saying something that is terrifying? Maybe it is true. If the healer is not very soft and considerate in front of such a fragile patient, maybe the stimulus itself is difficult. So if that is the case, then we will say stimulus is a problem. The stimulus itself is a problem.
If in this case, this is, for example, what you said, if that is a probability, then stimulus is the problem. What if there is a constitutional secondary narcissism? So will it be the constitution problem?
Yeah. So then what we are looking at is here we are looking at cognitively how that process is being done. Let us say, for example, he goes to a healer. Healer does not say anything difficult, but he projects from inside. Okay. Then what will happen is stimulus is not a problem. So stimulus is safe. It's not a problem. Now, when the stimulus is there, whatever is said, he senses that and makes a recognition of it. That also is not a problem. He recognizes that all this perception is coming from one source and this is said by person X. Perception also is not a problem. Right? But the conception is a problem. Right? His understanding is a problem, where it is coming from. So, the projection is happening. And he concludes from here that attack is going to come. So if we look at this process of knowing, the stimulus, sensation, perception, conception, knowledge, this is how we know anything. This is elaborated by Immanuel Kant. Right? That there is a stimulus in the environment, it falls upon our body and our senses register it. So it becomes a sensation. Sensations coming from the same person or the same object are grouped together and we have a perception. So I see you with my eyes, I hear you, both the eyes bring together stimuli, the ears bring together stimuli, all of them are coordinated and separated from other stimuli. And I know this set of sensations are coming from bhavana. At the same time, the air from the air conditioning and the fan is also touching my skin, but my mind knows they are separate sensations. So related sensations are grouped together to create a perception. And then the basic ideas of cause and effect, quantity and quality, they are all applied. So we understand something at the basic level. Okay, what is happening? So the conception is, he is a dangerous object. He can attack. He is a dangerous object. This is the perception, conception. And then the knowledge will be, he can attack. Attack is coming.
Anticipatory attack.
Yeah, his attack is coming. It will lead to unbearable pain and can lead to death. So this is the knowledge, and this knowledge terrifies him. So this is the cognitive component of it. Now, along with the cognitive component, feelings are generated. What are the feelings generated here?
Extreme anxiety.
Extreme anxiety, right?
Fear. Hopelessness.
Yeah. So here it is anxiety, powerlessness, hopelessness. Maybe some sadness also, we don't know.
Yes. Huge amount of sadness.
And maybe some sort of soft rage, which would be there.
Yes. It's like in waves.
So let me say, now, this is how the core event ka cognitive process is happening and the affective process is happening. Because here the delusion of persecution is there. So this is the cognitive. If you look at the core event, that he goes and sits with somebody and after some time he feels he will attack me. Now, if you go into the cognitive and affective analysis of this event, that how he reaches to the conclusion that he is going to attack me. This would be the cognitive component of it. This would be the affective component of it. And we see that among all the feelings, the most important feeling is anxiety. Now, look at the chakras which are involved in each of this. Stimulus is Muladhara. Right? All physical sensations are dealt with by Muladhara. Sensation process also controlled by it. Perception is controlled by Agnya Chakra. Sorry, perception is Muladhara. Conception and knowledge is concerned by Agnya Chakra. Now, in terms of affect, which chakras are at work? Anxiety is Muladhara.
So your audio video was gone.
Can you see me now?
Now we can see.
So, anxiety is related with Muladhara. Powerlessness, I'll just write here, there's some formatting issue. Powerlessness is related with Manipur.
Manipur.
So it has to come here. In front of powerlessness, it has to be Manipur. In terms of hopelessness, it is Agnya and heart. In terms of sadness, it is heart. In terms of anger, it is Muladhara.
Okay.
So this is how the chakras are at work. So this is the cognitive part of the process, and largely what are the effects generated in the core event. Now you take the most important effect in the core event, which is anxiety, and go into the depth of it, how anxiety is generated. So you come to the next table of emotion generation. The first table was about cognition and macro emotion generation. Now you pick up the most important emotion and go into it. How was it generated? So the desire for the good breast or absence from the bad breast was high or low. So this intensity is high, low, or medium. So let us say it was the desire for pleasure of the good breast was high. The karmic component was high. Self journey, moderate. Desire strength, high. The evaluation that the attack on me is going to be very brutal and deadly is high. Sensitivity is high. Affinity, meaning on the chakra, something is loaded and then life energy comes in, which is how the heat model operationally defines the working of the chakra, is high.
Okay.
Available life energy is high. Affect regulated is low. Pathological affect, which is remaining, is high. Symptom formation is high.
Right.
Now, of all of this, the core is the evaluation. Okay, how does he evaluate how much the other is going to attack me? So then I go into the detailed analysis of this evaluation. So what he does is, first he will analyze how much deadly will be the attack. Now it will depend upon how deadly my attack was on the bad breast. And
It's
how
the
much
projection of the law.
Yeah, and how much is the positivity and negativity in me. Take two situations. I attack the bad breast, but the attack is not very fierce, very sadistic. So then I say, okay, the breast is going to attack me, but I did not attack it very badly. It's not going to attack me very badly. Or I have more positivity and I say, it will attack me much less than I attacked it. But if the negativity is very high, I will say, I may or may not have done anything, but it will attack me very badly. If my sadism and aggression and negativity both are high, it's the worst. Because my attack was very sadistic and aggressive, and my negativity is very high. So I say it's going to be worse than what I did. So first is measurement of aggression and sadism shown by me. Second, based upon negativity or positivity, what is the assessment the others will do to me? Based upon this expected aggression and sadism and the consequences of it in terms of torture, pain, and death. Powerlessness, helplessness in the face of this fear of attack, pain, and death, leading to paranoid anxiety. Right? Now, in this part, what is at work? Constitutional aggression and sadism. In this part, positivity, hope, self-projection. In this part, the assessment, negativity, projection, imagination, fantasy. And in this part, which how do you look at it in terms of heat? In terms of heat, we will say the person goes to a healer. The Agnya Chakra starts evaluating it. Right? Very soon, the projection happens and the Agnya Chakra activates the Muladhara Chakra, which gets loaded with affinity, life energy, and then paranoid anxiety is generated in terms of the process. Right? So there is a thought operation and there is an actual emotion generation operation. Right? And what are the elementals at work? Here, Agnya Chakra, Muladhara, affinity, life energy, anxiety, and pain. In terms of the philosophical categories, what is the nature of this entity? It's an existent, meaning it's a fundamentally existing entity. This one, it's a force, it's a quality, it has a nature of quantity. Life energy, we can talk in terms of quality, quantity, and force. Anxiety is a feeling, it's also a force, it is related to quality, it is related to quantity. Pain is a feeling, it's also a force, a quality, a quantity. These are the epistemological categories created by Immanuel Kant, by and large, modified by me to some extent, to which these things belong. Now, why do we do all these things? Because at every step, some way of healing comes up. We can look here to see, is some epistemological category consistently coming up which needs some work? यहाँ पे is some chakra coming up repeatedly again and again which needs work? Right? And of course you do classical psychotherapy. But यहाँ पे you get all the holistic healing things, you get the elemental analysis. Ki in that fearing of the healer, right? How does the fear come about? He goes and sits, projections happen, he starts analyzing the healer, right? Sensation, perception, conception, the problem starts. Knowledge, the problem aggravates, their feelings are generated, certain chakras are involved there, and then paranoid anxiety starts. Right? So this is how we can go deeper, and wherever we find a problem, we can use any tool that we want, classical psychotherapy tool or holistic analysis tool, holistic healing tool. So, and in the end, we do the heat conceptualization using the model of the heat. That how it would happen, he would have gone there, sat before the person, stimulus would fall on the senses, the sensory mind will take a note of it, Muladhara will process, sensation will happen, perception will happen, conception will happen, and then because of the projection, he will be terrified and the Muladhara chakra will be activated, paranoid anxiety will be created. Right? So this is how we would look at the heat conceptualization. In the heat model of the mind, how would this process occur? Which parts of the system it would use? And how would the process happen in terms of function? And in this situation, once we analyze this, understand this, what are the points of intervention using classical psychotherapy or holistic healing analysis? So
I would just say from my personal understanding, what I've understood with the heat model, it's a very optimistic way of looking at the pathology, no matter how severe it is, and gives a hope to the therapist and the client. I could just see how easy it appeared, that how the life force is shifting from one place to another place, how the conversion happening. So the elaborative version of this pathology is much more optimistic than being pessimistic and heavy and negative.
So initially,
that's one of the
please say, you're about to say something.
I think that's one of the being very nuanced to the concept. That's the one thing I could see, the widespread of the phenomena, the pathology in general. It doesn't look like a very negative thing. It looks like something very workable and something very hopeful to work with.
Yeah. So initially it might take more time, but slowly as you get used to the process, this whole table work becomes very standardized. So what it does is it increases the width and the depth of analysis. And that in turn allows us to understand it better and apply more tools for healing.
So congratulations for creating such a in-depth and width with the pathology, because usually we get stuck with the issues and there is no further movement into the root causality of it.
Right.
So, wonderful work, sir.
Thank you so much. We are nearing the end, a minute to go. So we'll continue with other mechanisms in coming discussions. See you then.
Thank you.